Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Geek-Stew, and today, guys, welcome back to another episode of Conspiracy Theories with Ike. That's right. Hope this is close enough, but I have it down here, just on the jacket, so we're gonna flip that over. Hopefully, you guys can hear me all right. But thank you guys so much for coming around, watching the video today. Just to let you know, hope you guys liked the last two videos. It was fun doing them, so I hope that the Roanoke videos were pretty good. If not, let me know in the comment section down below that you hate me and you hate my guts. Anyways, honestly, it's a weird coincidence that I did those videos. One day I was just talking to my wife about, honestly, the TV show American Horror Story Roanoke, and then boom, video time. So anyhow, hope you all are doing pretty good. Nothing crazy that's happened over the last week or so. Obviously, since the last time you've seen me, it's been Black Friday and everything else. I had a little vacation from work, so got to do some binge watching of some shows. Got to catch up on Walking Dead. That's cool. Also, it's Christmas time, so I hope you guys are all excited for that. Hopefully, I'll have a Christmas-related theory here in a couple weeks. But enough of all that and the Christmas-related stuff. It's not quite there yet. I'm sure we'll be nice and tired of Christmas by the time the year is over, so I'm not going to dredge that up too much longer. Anyhow, like I said, I've been binge watching some shows. I finished off the Walking Dead series. The last season is up, It's crazy. I've been watching that show for like a decade. But weirdly enough, I've also been watching Criminal Minds, and that today is actually where our theory came from. When I say it's where our theory came from, that's actually where I heard of this concept. Basically, I was watching an episode, and to be specific, I was watching season 13. There's a lot of seasons. Episode 22 called Mixed Signals. And in this episode, I won't go into detail because I don't want to spoil it for people who maybe want to watch it, but there is a phenomenon called the hum. Just because I didn't mention in the beginning, make sure you like and subscribe, follow us on social media, follow my podcast, your boy does one. Anyways, let's talk about the hum. So I never actually really heard this personally. I've actually seen shows and movies with this concept in it. There's an episode of X-Files that actually talks about something similar to the hum. And then I watched this episode and it kind of sparked my memory. I'm like, I've seen the X-Files episode. Is this like an actual phenomenon? And it was. So, partially my fault, my ignorance on that one.
You're not just wrong, you're stupid.
So the hum is actually a name given to a widespread report of a persistent and invasive, low-frequency humming, rumbling, or droning noise audible to many but not all people. The hum, or the hums, have been reported all over the world, including the United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, and Canada. Yeah, so these hums actually vary between people and areas. It's fairly a widespread phenomenon, obviously reaching quite a few regions and countries. And the hum has actually been reported as early as 1973. That's right, 1973, just for reference, is like 49 years ago. So there are people who have grown up and had children since this has been the thing, and I just didn't know about it, I guess. It's crazy. But so this alone is actually pretty interesting, the concept of like a low drum humming sound that people hear, but not all people hear, right? Not everybody hears this. It's reported in some people in some of these areas, but people who live close to these people don't hear it. So this also leads to, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, the reasoning or why the hum occurs. Is it some sort of external factor, or is it maybe an internal issue? That being said, there are plenty of, I would say, rational explanations, right? Rational external explanations, such as mechanical devices or various large buildings or structures that may generate a low hum, like power plants, stuff like that, to tinnitus even. For people who may not know, tinnitus is a perception of sound when no sound is present. A lot of people got that from COVID, actually, crazy enough. But then there's also explanations such as jet stream. We have a lot of planes in the sky. Maybe the planes themselves cause jet streams or some kind of wind tunnel effect or naturally occurring wind tunnels. There's another popular conspiracy theory that I've never talked about. I think it's called Dyatlov Pass. It's actually thought that Dyatlov Pass and the subsequent events that occurred were due to some form of wind tunnel or jet stream, if you will. It's also been related to insects. The hum has been related to various types of insects. Some people think it's like cicadas. Obviously, those only pop up every now and then. But anyhow, those are rational explanations. Nobody came to this theory saying, I want a rational explanation for this unknown phenomenon. You come to talk to me about the numerous explanations that verge on the edge of insanity, the brink of insanity, if you will. So let's talk about those. So this part's going to be a little long-winded, so I apologize ahead of time, but these are some pretty cool theories about the hum, so I hope you enjoy these. So make sure my microphone's in the right place here. I think it is. It should pick up my voice. If it's not, then I guess we're not getting a video this week. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so we're going to start us off. Let's talk government. Obviously, anytime you have a conspiracy, there's always, or generally speaking, the government's involved, right? The government is usually, I would consider, a pretty major and popular scapegoat for, I would say, 99% of any conspiracy theory that you have, right? Anything that you have could in some way, shape, or form be thrown through the loops back to the government. So this is no exception, obviously. So there is a theory that the hum or subsequent random auditory events are actually part of a military weapons test. There does, of course, exist sonic weapons, right? These are typically used in crowd control, riot control. But it's actually thought that these widespread experiences could be explained by some kind of widespread weapons testing of sonic weapons. Obviously don't know the realism of that, but it could happen. They exist. But who knows if these random people being randomly selected are actually being impacted by that. But there's also a theory that the hum is actually a result of faulty government implants. You heard that right. So there's obviously a huge conspiracy theory. COVID, I think, reignited it. People thought that the COVID vaccine or the government just in general were implanting chips or some kind of tracking into us, some kind of component. And basically, a lot of people think that the hum is actually the result of that chip or implant not working properly. Now, obviously, I don't subscribe to that theory personally, but if you do subscribe to that theory, then hey, this might be an example why somebody might hear the hum. In addition to that, in a slightly different vein, some people like to think that the theory is caused by power plants or power generative like locales. So, hydroelectric plants, actual electric plants like the ones that are powered by oil. There's all kinds of different versions of this, but a lot of people think that this could be the case. There's actually quite a few, I would say, examples of this that have actually occurred in real life where I couldn't find a whole lot of information on it, but back in like when was it? It was a while ago, but there was one couple who lived 2 miles away from a substation in South Carolina, and the local power company, the state power company, was sued by this couple because they said that for some reason they were hearing this hum and it was disrupting their day-to-day life. So obviously it's interesting, but who knows if that's the truth. But a lot of people think that rather than it just being like a power plant, or rather than it just being like this external factor, that the government knows about it and they simply just don't care, right?
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers. That's
the theory. So in addition to that, there's also the idea that this is some weird psychological virus, What I mean by that is that there are some people who think that people just started hearing this hum one day, and it's kind of like mass hysteria, right? One person started hearing the hum, they probably started freaking out, and then it infected their life, and then other people started experiencing the same thing. Some form of group psychosis, if you will. Obviously, this doesn't seem super likely because there are people who have reports of hearing the hum who had never heard of it prior, right? In addition to that, this one's obviously, again, pretty batshit crazy, but people think that it could have a paranormal explanation. Basically, people who are more keen or sensitive to paranormal things, whether that be ghosts, demons, or whatever the case may be, basically, people who have this more keen sense to the supernatural have the ability to hear the hum, and then the hum is being generated by some paranormal force. Don't get me wrong, I do believe in the paranormal, I do believe in the supernatural. I do not, however, believe that it is generating a hum sound, but interesting enough. Now, obviously, I have one more kind of out there theory for you, and this is obviously last but certainly not least in my list of theories, aliens.
Have you seen an alien, please?
So obviously, if you haven't already guessed it, aliens are always the cause of everything. Everything that I've ever talked about is due to aliens. You guessed it.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
So basically, some people think that there have been people who were abducted and or potentially tested on, or maybe not even abducted, maybe they're just being tested on Earth by aliens. Some sort of alien equipment or alien rationale is the reason why some people, and not everybody, are hearing the hum. You guessed it. So yeah, aliens are the reason why everything is happening and why everything is bad. Alright, so snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. No, I'm just kidding. But for real though, snap us back to reality. So we're just going to talk about what I actually think the reason for the hum is. And here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna quote some research, quote some numbers for you, and we're gonna talk about this. So in 2009, the head of audiology department at Addenbrooke's, sorry, I almost said Aldenbrooke's, at Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge, David Bagley, said that he believed the reported hum was caused by the physical world about 1/3 of the time. He said that the other 2/3 of the time, the issue was mostly stemming from people who focused too keenly on innocuous background sounds. In addition to that, he actually specifically works with these people, right? He specifically works with people who are affected by the hum. And basically he says that he focuses on psychology and using relaxation techniques to overcome the hum or lessen the severity of it. So yeah, but I think that with his research and some of the stuff I've been seeing, I think the most likely explanation is a combination of explanations. Basically, the hum seems to be sort of an auditory phenomenon that people probably suffer from due to some form of maybe anxiety or even OCD, right? Where they are too honed into reality, focusing heavily on these background sounds, causing sort of this, not even necessarily an auditory hallucination, just this too keen of a focus on these background sounds that you and I typically can just tune out. But they can't. They don't have that ability. Something with them or something with their brain or the way that their brain has been formed over time has allowed them to basically focus in on these and not let it go, basically. Of course, there's obviously lots of research, in regards to the 2/3, but there is 1/3 of people who people believe that are impacted by external factors. Because obviously they're not always impacted by it. They don't always hear it. It's only under certain conditions. So keep that in mind. If you are impacted by the hum, there are plenty of resources online, honestly. There's lots of information online about it. But I think a lot of people who are impacted by this, unfortunately, are, they have some form of issue with regards to tuning out noise. It's not necessarily their fault. It's just how it happens, unfortunately. Alright, so as we finish up today, cool theory, lots of information online about it, lots of reports of people experiencing this, weirdly enough. I would definitely say this is a pretty extensive history about this. There's a lot of theories that there's no information about it, but the hum is less of a theory. It's a real life phenomenon. It's just why it's a phenomenon is what's theorized about. Of course, I do want to say that I want to make sure that people know that I'm not trying to diminish the impact that the hum has probably had on people's lives. I'm not saying that these people are crazy. The hum is a very real phenomenon. It's been too widely reported on for it not to be real. And I think that a lot of people who struggle with this probably fall into the category of external factor or a set of conditions, maybe in their upbringing or maybe just in their day-to-day life, that have allowed them to not be able to tune out those innocuous noises, right? So by no means am I trying to diminish the reality of it. I just want to say that with any concept, the longer that something exists and the longer that something exists in popular culture, right, and the internet, the more and more it's speculated on, because there's really no mystery with this. We pretty much know what causes it, but people like to look for the unexplained. People like to look for the underlying. And sometimes when you get provided a pretty straightforward answer, Some people don't want to believe the straightforward answer. They would like to believe that there's more to it because it's not as satisfying when there's a straightforward answer. People like to push, right? And this applies to a lot of conspiracy theories. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is very easily and rationally explained, but sometimes the rational and easy explanation is not satisfying, so they look for more. They look for deeper understandings, and those deeper understandings are typically wrong, unfortunately, but that's just me. Anyhow, I don't want to keep mulling on about this, so yeah. With all that in mind, I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, let me know, of course. If you did, give us a like and a subscribe. Follow us on social media. I won't draw out the end too long, but I hope you're all doing well, and I will see you next week. Follow us on social media. Like, subscribe. I already said it. Follow my podcast. If you don't, you're a loser. Anyways, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay awesome. We will see you in the next one. See ya.